It's your girl, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. Hello, everyone. If you are tuning in and this is your first time watching us, you're probably wondering, okay, Nicole Ryan, Lana Solutions, debt diva, what is this? Well, it's everything finance, you guys, everything debt. I once was a debt collector. I moved up the ladder and I was able to get a bunch of privy information to start helping you, the consumer. So instead of staying behind that phone and calling to do collections and teaching people how to collect debt, I decided to come around to the other side and start helping you pay back the debt and start teaching you how to deal with collectors. And I always used to say in the collection agency, even with my collectors, you get more bees with honey. So I can actually teach you a few things when it comes to talking to debt collectors. However, that's who I am, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. And that debt diva just means we like to eliminate debt by all means necessary. Okay, so let's talk. So today I decided I wanted to talk about debt. I'm always talking debt diva, and a lot of times we talk a lot about finances and how to eliminate debt and how to raise credit scores and how to get your taxes in order and do your expense trackers. Yes. And so much more. So if you've been missing that, make sure you tune in and you go to the website and get those archives and start listening to some of that stuff. But today I decided to talk about just simple steps for the consumer to actually avoid debt altogether. I think because being in the financial industry, sometimes we just assume everyone knows this stuff. But when I sit down with consumers and small business owners, I come to realize that we don't. And so if I could, this segment, just slow down a little bit and give you an opportunity to get some simple steps on how to actually get out of debt. The biggest thing I come up against with clients is there's a deficit a lot of times, meaning that there is more month than money, that there's not enough money coming in to take care of the debts. So in order to find out how to do that, you're going to have to create a budget. Simple, yeah, for some people, but not for everyone. There are apps out there. Every Dollar Matters. That's with Dave Ramsey. You can go to DaveRamseySolutions.com and get that app for free. Or you can go to mint.com, mint.com, and get their app for free. And they are a program that is now ran through Intuit, which is also a part of creditkarma.com. And all of these entities have linked up Credit Karma, mint.com with Intuit. And once you link onto that, you'll see why. They are very savvy when it comes to budgets. And the thing that I like about these apps, so if you have your mobile device, you can go to your app store for iPhone, or you can go to your, I believe it's the Google Play, and download these apps. And the cool thing about it is once you download the app, the only thing you have to do is go in and either connect it to your bank or connect it to your student loans or connect it to your creditors, and it automatically pulls all the information and it creates the budget. So let's say you have a bill from MUD or OPPD. If you sign into the app online, you have to give your credentials and you have to allow the user ID and password to be approved. It will sync to each of your creditors, each of your accounts, and it will give you real-time numbers that format into your budget. And it also pulls up a fancy pie chart and so much more. So if you're that person that says, I can't do a budget, I just don't have time for it, or a lot of people just don't want to do it because they really don't want to see the truth with the real numbers, meaning how much income do I have coming in and how much of that is going out. Well, the number one way to get out of debt is to face those numbers and go ahead and write them down and find out if you have a deficit, meaning you don't have enough money to pay your bills, or a surplus. If you have a deficit, you set up ways to either earn more income or you have to eliminate items to start to save, store, and invest. All right, so budget is number one. So when you track your income and expenses monthly, this helps you live within your means and avoid unnecessary spending. When you get these apps, and even if you decide, if you're old school like me, and I always bring this up on the show, I just like a piece of paper and pencil. However, I do have the apps and all the fancy gadgets because it's 2025 and they make this stuff so easy for us. So my thing is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Get on board and test out some of this stuff. If you're familiar with GPT chat or AI, which I know a lot of folks are, open AI, you can actually put your personalized expense tracker into that web area in GPT chat, which is for a whole nother level of you guys. Those of you that don't understand it, don't worry about it. But you can put it in there and it'll even create a chart for you. But if you want to keep it simple, I like simple, right? Keep it simple. Go right to mint.com or DaveRamseySolutions.com and just download the Every Dollar Matters app and just put your numbers in, give them permission to the different accounts you want them to be linked to, and it will automatically program these numbers for you, and it will let you know, hey, you're in the red or you're in the black. Meaning you have enough, you have a surplus where you can start saving, or you have a deficit where you really need to start earning. So don't make a budget hard. If you just need to get a pencil and a piece of paper and start writing down the income you have coming in versus your expenses and debts that you have going out, it's going to show you what you have available. And numbers don't lie, you guys. So that's why I always make people get back to the meat and potatoes when they're doing a budget, because we'll comb through all of their expenses and we'll see Netflix apps, we'll see Disney Plus, we'll see gym memberships, we'll see personal care, getting your hair done, your nails done, massages. We'll see Ulta Beauty. We'll see Victoria's Secrets. We'll start to see a bunch of unconscious spending and not bumping the numbers up against your national averages to really see what you should be paying and if you're just out there spending. So when we pull this stuff back in, we've been able to find hundreds, if not thousands of dollars available to start managing to use towards savings accounts, life insurance, investments accounts, CDs, and so much more, where you can start to get a return on investments and get a return on the money that you have available. So don't think you don't have it, especially if you're a small business owner. We definitely need to talk, because we'll go in and we'll look at your overhead. You too have to create a budget. And we'll realize that you're paying, let's say, some rug cleaning company extra that you shouldn't have to even pay when you have one right down the street that's able to take care of it at a more affordable cost. So you want to make sure you're doing your comparison shopping. You want to make sure, personal and business, you're always auditing that budget and ensuring, like our large Fortune 500 companies, you are getting the best bang for your buck. Why not? You should be. You deserve it. And as you start to budget and really pay attention to your means and what you have coming in and going out, you'll realize you'll have extra money for vacation and some of the things that you really want to have. Some of the items, whether it's clothes, shoes, automobiles, you start to manage that money the right way and not just throwing it out, right? Because spend means to throw out. This will give you so much more peace of mind, so much more thought when it comes to finances and financial decisions that you have to make? Do I get Cox Cable or do I just watch, regular TV? Because for some of us, if we're being charged, and this is not to, root out Cox Cable, this is just to let you know some of the items and expenses that come to mind when I think about my clients. If you're spending over $200 a month on Cox Cable, and you don't have enough money for food, you don't have enough money to put gas in your car, some of the entertainment expenses, as you do the budget, you'll be able to pull back on. So do your budget, all right? That's the first step, you guys, to avoid debt, is creating that budget. I think I expanded on that enough. All right. So let's move to the second one. That is to build an emergency fund. Now, I hate to call this emergency fund because a wise man taught me you can name it a peace of mind account, right? That way we don't have to speak any kind of emergency fund or emergencies into existence. But I like to call it a peace of mind account, aka emergency fund. And all this is, you guys, is at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, all right? So this can prevent you from using credit cards or loans in emergencies. Because what happens when we're swiping for those credit card purchases, or let's say you blew a tire, right? And then you're like, oh, no big deal. I'll just go put it on my American Express, or I'll just go put it on my Discover, or I'll just put it on my credit card from the bank, and then I'll make small payments throughout the month and get it paid. Well, with your emergency fund, and Dave Ramsey only recommends $1,000 for the emergency fund, you can use that money in there to take care of that tire that blew, or the washing machine, or et cetera, whatever you should need that's an emergency. Now, keep in mind, you can also grow your emergency fund to the 3 to 6 months to a year, they're saying, of expenses. So when COVID, right, or something unexpected hits in a big way, unemployment, companies, sell, acquisitions, so much stuff that can threaten our jobs, when our health, when there's some type of medical illness you get hit with, accidents, and so much more. Yes, you should have your accidental insurance, supplemental insurance, and so much more to cover you in areas like that. But you still have to have that emergency fund. Start with $1,000. After that, you can definitely build it up to 3 months, to 6 months, to a year that you could really live on if there was a loss of a job, or some type of medical illness, or something that has you out for long term. And I know we have short term, long term disability, but some of us don't. So think about that. Build an emergency fund, at least $1,000, okay? So you don't have to take out a payday loan, and you don't have to go run and use a credit card and get racked up with all that interest rate. And then guess what happens in about another 6 months to a year? Another emergency. Imagine that. Life is lifing, you guys. And if you don't know by now, a tire being blown, brakes going out, some of this stuff that just happens, air conditioning units, life is lifing. So if we can be proactive and prepare for it, it is going to keep us out of debt. Okay, so we're talking about avoiding debt, you guys. The first one was creating the budget. The second one is to build that emergency fund. The third one, use credit wisely. Okay, what does that mean? Only borrow what you can afford to pay back in full and on time. Now, avoid carrying high balances on your cards. Because let me tell you about creditors. What they love to do for your good behavior is increase that balance. And you know what that tells us? We're going to use it. Why do we use it? Because at the last minute, something comes up and we don't have that emergency fund. And then we just get in the habit of always using it and always making the minimum payment on it. And guess what? always having debt around as if it's normal. I kid now and I joke about it, but it's like we kind of tuck the debt in, at night, or it's our little pet, right? Where it's just always going to be around, and it becomes generational to the point where we unconsciously think it's not debt. So if you don't own your home and you're still paying a mortgage, or you don't own your car and you're still paying car payments, those belong to the bank or the lender until it's paid in full. Keep that in mind. So being able to avoid debt and not just using credit cards or racking up all kinds of loans just because you have good credit to do so. No, only borrow what you can afford. And if you can avoid borrowing altogether, now you hear that from Debt Diva, and I know that's not for everyone. Do your best not to, because you can use your debit card even as a credit card. When you swipe, they give you an option where you can put in the PIN, or you can just use it as a credit card, but it still comes out of your money. So if you're one of those people where you just got the fever for swiper, swiper no swiping, I'm always thinking of Dora the Explorer. If you have kids, you understand. Just swipe your debit card where it automatically comes out, and get in the habit of doing that. And with your peace of mind account, aka emergency account, you can even have that set up to attach to your regular checking account in case there are emergencies where you have to be able to pay for that tow truck right away, or pay to get that tire repaired right away. Okay? So use credit wisely. That means only borrow what you can afford. Nowadays, that's pretty much all you can borrow, because they are looking at all of your financial information. They're looking at your credit reports. They're looking at your collateral, because they want to know you can pay it back. And that's something that people don't understand. And I deal with this a lot when I'm helping small business owners get funding for things that they need for their business, whether it's working capital or they have some type of equipment or something they need to purchase. These lenders are still sitting back and they're looking at your income statements, right? They're looking at your tax statements. They're looking at what you own, your assets, because they want to know, hey, what are your assets versus your liability? Do you have a net worth? Because chances are when you don't, there's people that go in with credit scores over 700, but when the underwriters and everyone look at the income they have coming in versus their liabilities, they do not qualify. And then they get hit with, well, we can loan you a few thousand, but sorry, we're not able to give you 50 or 100,000 or millions, just depending on who the client is. So think about that when you do approach credit. You don't want to have to borrow. We've got in a habit where we think all the credit cards, and we open our wallet and we show all these credit cards. Those are all banks, you guys, behind the name of those department stores. And the majority of them are Synchrony Bank. And if you're watching this and you can attest to this, yes. So next time you open up your wallet, or next time the average American has about 7 credit cards, realize all you have is 7 banks that you owe money to. We're talking about avoiding debt, you guys. So use credit wisely. Avoid it if you're able to. And I understand major purchases like student loans, mortgages, auto loans. We don't just have 10,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars laying around. I understand that. But I still need you to get in the habit of eliminating the debt. Because it's there doesn't mean you have to have it for 30 years. The auto loans are being stretched out to 84 months now, you guys. You don't have to do that. You can pay on the principal. And there's a way, if you want to reach out and mention KPAO, that you can even start to pay on that mortgage, where you can pay it off a lot sooner. You can even refi it for 15 years and put yourself in a position where you have to pay off more of it sooner. And when you double up the payments, or even pay just a little more on top of the payment, and make sure you tell them you want that to go towards the principal on your mortgage payment, you can knock off years of your mortgage payment. Did you know that? A lot of times we don't. You know why? Because we're running down to the farmer's market and everything else, and we're just spending, spending, spending. Shout out to the farmer's market. I was there Sunday at Exarban's when it first opened, the first Sunday, and it was absolutely amazing. But you know what? I managed money to be able to be down there to get what I wanted, and I want you to do the same, okay? Let's talk about avoiding debt, you guys. So using your credit wisely. Here's one for you, and that was a great segue. Differentiate your needs versus your wants. Prioritize essentials like housing, food, and utilities before luxury or impulse purchases. So when I was at the farmer's market at Exarban, I was able to get, I don't know if you've had a chance to see the display that All About Bees has out there this year. Oh my goodness, you guys. They have all flavors of honey you can think of. And I am such a honey person. But I had a budget and I knew that. So I was able to get my honeycomb, which I really enjoy. And I wanted all of it, I'll be honest with you, but it was an impulse buy. And I was able to manage what I knew I was able to get at that time. So we have to be able to differentiate needs versus our wants. And that has a lot to do with your budget. So number 4 ties right back into number 1. And it lets you know that as you prioritize your shelter, your food, your utilities, and I even include transportation. Shout out to Chariots for Hope, which is a nonprofit right here in Omaha, Nebraska, that helps with transportation barriers. And if you're someone who's dealing with issues and you don't have a car, or you're needing money to fix a car, or you don't even have enough money to put gas in your car, look into Chariots for Hope, okay? I will make sure that the link is on this segment because they can help you. Now, there is a long waiting list for folks that are waiting for a car, but they have a process and they have steps that you have to go through. They don't just throw the money at you. It's a case-by-case scenario. And like me, they are here to educate us. They teach us about oil changes and car insurance and maintenance and the rotating of the tires and so many things we can do, you guys, so that our cars are not breaking down on us, giving us more debt issues, right? They allow Lana Solutions to speak to a lot of their clients and help with any type of financial barriers that keeps them not having enough money to take care of the automobiles. Chariots for Hope, you guys. Look into that if you're dealing with any type of transportation barriers, okay? So, back with the needs versus the wants. I got down to the essentials. Housing, that's paying your rent, paying your mortgage. Food, making sure you have a budget for your rent, your food, and your utilities, and your transportation, and not luxury, like a brand new handbag. For some of my ladies who love to run out and go spend hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, on handbags. It's okay, that's a want, but you have to manage that purchase. Impulse purchases. Summertime is here. That impulse shopping is on a rise. Historical data does not lie. So before you run out to go get that new swimming pool, new bathing suit, new towels, new sun hat, new sunglasses, make sure your budget's in order, okay? I'm going to run through a couple other real quick because we'll be wrapping up here in a few minutes. Pay your bills on time. This will avoid late fees and higher interest that can damage your credit score as well when you miss those payments. Don't want to be missing payments because once you miss those payments, it really does take a toll on your credit score, you guys. Avoid high interest loans, and you can do that by not borrowing at all, okay? Now, if you have to borrow, check out a few credit unions first. I always say start with your first bank because they know you the best. And if they deny you, talk to them to find out why. Then you can approach some other lenders, all right? Don't be so quick to jump on the bandwagon of these credit cards that are flooding you in the mail. And don't just borrow just to be borrowing. If there's a reason you're borrowing and it's going to be a return on your investment, small business owners, personal loans. Take the time to review it. Check the interest rates. Go to GPT Chat or Google. See who has the current best interest rates and see if you can latch on to them, okay? Educate yourself financially. That's why I'm here. Your girl, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. I tell you guys, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. If you don't understand the rent you pay, right? The auto loans, the credit cards, the student loans you pay, then who will? Get that budget, comb through it, and live, all right? And be debt-free, okay? It's your girl, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. Until next time, you guys, and reach out if you need to have a conversation around your finances. Lana.us, LAANA.us, or you can call me locally, 402-817-3049. You can call toll free if you happen to get this on social media at 1-888-568-6312. Any social media handle, you should be able to find me on Facebook under Lana Solutions, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. What else, you guys? Anything you can think of, I guarantee you I'm out there. And you can click on it, connect with me. I'd love to have a conversation with you and see what we can do to continue to educate you to live debt-free. Have a beautiful day or night, depending on what time you're watching this. Bye.